Hello, this is PTG ma'am, and today's video will be on entrepreneurship for class 12 students who are appearing for boards examination this year. Just after a few days they will be having their first examination, and this particular video and the upcoming video also will be on unit 4. Okay, so that is the enterprise growth strategies. I have my book in front of me. I will be seeing from there and telling you the portions which are not to be ignored, and 2-3 portions which are not there, which we know has been deleted from the syllabus. And I would be discussing about the key areas where you should give a lot of stress according to what we have seen for the past few years. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so for the purpose of suggestion and advice and whatever I will be doing and giving out in this particular video, I will be strictly sticking to the CBSE textbook and not any reference book, because I feel that this textbook is good enough, and if you are thorough with it, you actually don't need any reference or guidebook from the market. So follow this strictly. And whatever I'm saying is just a suggestion and advice. Doesn't mean this is what you will be exactly giving, because that power nobody has control of what is coming in your question paper. So you will have to use your own knowledge, your own intuition, follow what your teachers are saying, have been telling you throughout their years, and follow the advice, and obviously listen to this video. I'm sure it will help you. Okay, so as I was saying, we are starting with page 140, which marks the beginning of this particular chapter, which is enterprise growth strategies. What kind of questions do you actually or normally get from this particular chapter? A lot of questions from franchising actually comes. Okay, so franchising portion, you can say, is the most important part from this particular chapter, or that is actually what we have observed for the past few years. Mostly you get it in the form of case studies, where you either have to identify the type of franchising, or you have to discuss about the advantages and disadvantages of franchising, or why would a company go for franchising. Okay, and also the different kinds of mergers that you have. So these things in details I'll tell you. Let's begin page wise. So page 140, you don't have anything in it. It just contains the learning objectives. So there is nothing that you have to remember from here. Page 141 has a case study, which is the Goli Vada Pav case study is there for your exam. As I said, you usually don't get exact case study from your textbook, right? So it's not that you get this exact case study, but you can always refer to it, because case studies are always there, and it's in reference to your context, the text that we are doing, but not that important. Next, we have growth and development of an enterprise, which comes page 142. So there one question can come, which is there as a line also, that why should a business grow? Okay, why should a business look out for growth? So this, I don't think this will come in a very elaborate manner or descriptive type. You can have it for 2 marks, maximum 3 marks. So without growth, obviously, if you're talking for, we are thinking from the point of view of vision and future, then if you're not growing, you're becoming stagnant, then that doesn't really help you, because you have so many competitors around you. It's a total competitive world. So if you don't grow, then you don't survive also. Just like human being, you cannot stick to being an infant throughout your life. There are different stages. You have to grow, and that is how you become mature. That is how you enjoy your life. So the same goes for a business concern also. It has to grow. It at least have to think about the growth and growth perspective. Now, after that, on page 143, 2 things are given, that how can you expand your business? What are the 2 different ways through which you can expand your business? Well, this can come as a short question, because you have 2 points here. One is internal expansion, and you have external expansion. This can come as objective, fill in the blanks, MCQs, true and false. Okay. This can also come as a descriptive question where you have to explain the meaning of internal expansion and external expansion. So when we are talking about internal expansion, that can happen in different forms. You are increasing your production level. Okay, you are opening up new branches, you are hiring more employees, you are investing more capital. Okay, you are buying new machines, adopting some new technology which will help you in your growth. So these are all part of your internal expansion. And when we talk about external expansion, there we will find that it's a combination of two or more concerns. Okay, so here you see external party being engaged. But when we are talking about internal expansion, you yourself are adding to the growth of your business by not taking the help of any external unit. You are not combining yourself with any other concern. Okay, now if you go for your syllabus, that is the curriculum that has been given to you, what is there in your syllabus starts from the franchising concept. So the syllabus is not very clear about whether this portion is there or is not there. But since this is a very basic question and you don't have to invest much of your time into it, I would just suggest that these 2-3 portions you can just go through it once, read it, or even just listen to this video. It will remain in your mind, and so that if by chance a question is coming from this particular portion, that why is growth important, why should a business grow, what are the different ways through which a business can grow, what is the difference between internal and external expansion, you don't miss out that question. You are in a position to answer. Okay, though this particular portion has not been specifically mentioned in your syllabus, so you can think that this is not there in your syllabus. Now coming to the most important portion from this particular chapter, which is 145. On page 145, we have the concept of franchising being given. A bit of history of franchising is given there with a diagram, but what will be important actually is when you turn to page 146 and you go for the second paragraph, you find the definition of franchising there. Okay, franchising is an arrangement whereby the manufacturer or sole distributor of a trademark product, and so it goes on till procedures. You will see it's already put within an inverted comma. So that's the definition of franchising. Okay, so again I would expect, ask you, suggest you, advise you to remember these 3 or 4 lines, so that if directly it is being asked what is franchising, you can answer. And even if this passage is given to you and you are asked to identify the passage, you can write that it relates to the concept of franchising. Now don't make a mistake of writing franchise. Okay, some students write it's franchise. This is not franchise, this is franchising, the process, the arrangement. Okay, so you have to be very specific with your answer, because now you are in class 12 and we expect you to be very proper with your answers and your concepts. So this franchising part is important. Now, who is a franchisor and who is a franchisee? That particular part is also important, which is there in that passage only. The person offering the franchise is known as franchisor, and the person who purchases the franchise and is given the opportunity to enter into a new business with a better chance of success, that person is known as the franchisee. Okay, so the franchisor and the franchisee, these 2 portions are important. These can come as short questions, obviously. One line answers, so it could be just 2 marks thing. Next can be, what is the franchise agreement? Okay, so this is the foundation of the relationship between the franchisor and the franchisee. It's an agreement, it's a written thing, because you must have read in your BSc in class 11 that being verbal doesn't serve the purpose. You cannot prove, it doesn't make sense. So when we are talking about these things, it's an agreement and it's a written agreement. Okay, so a franchise agreement is a legal document that binds the franchisor and the franchisee together. It explains what the franchisor expects from the franchisee and things like that. So this particular point is also important. So what are the 4 things I said are important? One is what is franchising, second is who is a franchisor, third is who is a franchisee, and fourth one is what is the franchise agreement. These 4 things are important. Next, we have the main ingredients of franchise agreement. This usually we have seen comes as a direct question. Okay, so you will be asked that what are the main ingredients of franchise agreement. So there you will have to mention the 4 different points that you have according to the question. If the question is asking you for all the 4 points, you give all the 4 points. If the question is asking for 2 points or 3 points, accordingly you will do it. This can also come as an MCQ, where 3 points might be right and 1 is wrong, and you will be asked to find out which is not an ingredient of the franchise agreement. Another way also this question can come. For this again you have to know the answer well. You have to know all the 4 ingredients very well, that they might tell you about the ingredient and then they would ask you to identify it. Okay, this is very common. I'm saying this in all my videos because this is how it comes. Okay, this is what has been observed. Now this year if suddenly everything is changing, well, we don't know. But if you have observed the pattern for a few years, for the past few years, you will see this is how it is done. Okay, so you have to know the keywords. What is keywords? The heading, like contract explanation, that's the keyword. Okay, operations manual, that's another keyword. Proprietary statements, that is the third keyword, and the fourth one is ongoing site maintenance. These are keywords you have to keep it intact. Explanation part, you can obviously write it in your own language, in your own in your own way of expressing it can be different. Meaning has to remain the same, and you have to know the meaning, because if the meaning is being given to you, you can identify the keywords. Okay, so this portion is also important. Now next thing, which is again very important, is the types of franchising. Product franchise, manufacturing franchise, business opportunity franchise, and business format franchise. For these 4, I would again tell you, go through these 4 definitions, types and meanings very, very well, thoroughly, so that if you're given a direct question, that's the easiest one you can get. You might not be that lucky to get a direct question always. You can get this in form of a case study again, where franchising or a franchise agreement will be mentioned, and what kind of franchising is happening, that clue will also be given in the passage. And from there you have to identify that whether it is the product franchise or the manufacturing franchise or the business franchise. Okay, so whatever, or it could also be the business format franchise. So that way also it can come, and this is actually the most common type, where you get a case study. This can also come as a match the following type. So you have column A, you have column B, you have to match the following. Match the following can come as a 3 marks question, 4 marks question, can also come as an MCQ. Okay, where the columns will be given and 4 options will be given by matching, okay, column A and column B, but obviously all the matchings will not be right. One of the options will have the correct matching of the pairs, and that way you have to answer. So you can expect any kind of questions from here. Okay, next one that we have is advantages of franchising. How is franchising important to a startup? When you are starting your business, one thing is that people don't know about your product. You don't have a goodwill in the market. The trust portion is still not there. You have so many other competitors in the market. So initially getting into the market and getting that hold is quite difficult. So in that case, franchising can help you. There's some points given in your book regarding how does franchising help starters. Just go through it once, okay? Once or twice you read. It's not very difficult. I'm sure you can remember. Next comes advantages of franchising, which is again very important topic from this particular chapter. Usually direct questions come, the advantages and disadvantages, okay? But advantages, do remember, you have it from the point of view of the franchisor, you also have it from the point of view of the franchisee. So if the question is silent and does not say anything about whose point of view is to be taken into consideration, then you write both the point of views, okay? So you give the heading as advantages of franchising, A from the point of view of franchisor, B from the point of view of the franchisee, if nothing is mentioned. And if the question is very specific, it is already telling you that explain it from the franchisor's point of view or explain it from the franchisee's point of view, there accordingly you will